Hey, what's up guys, NSC85. Yesterday I was out at the range, shot my SGL 31 quite extensively, of course with Russian surplus ammunition, so it's corrosive. And I figured I'd just make a quick video on how I clean my Arsenal SGL 31 after I shoot corrosive ammunition. And y'all know that the Arsenal isn't exactly a cheap firearm, so you obviously want to take care of it. And if you've seen my other videos, you know I'm pretty OCD and I like my things taken care of. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I take care of my rifle. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that I do is I make a mixture of water and ballast. And you can use ballast to neutralize the corrosive ammunition residue with 10% ballast and 90% water. The great thing about ballast is that it mixes very well with water. So this is the non-aerosol version, so it's just ballast. And on the top here, when you first get it, you have to remove everything up here. I just remove a half, makes it easier to pour. But you just want to put some in. So as you can see, the ballast is floating on top of the water. And we're going to screw the cap back on. And you can get these empty sprayers anywhere. You can even use like an empty Windex bottle or something if you wanted to. Alright, so we're all mixed up there. And the first thing that I do is I take the muzzle brake off, and just a tip, and I'll go over this a little bit later in the video, what I have found makes it extremely easy to take this on and off, especially when you need to clean after shooting corrosive ammunition, is a little bit of this red grease, multi-purpose EP grease, and then it also has some anti-seize in it, which makes it very nice for being able to get this off. I've actually had experience firsthand with this getting like welded on just due to corrosion and everything, and it's extremely difficult to get off. So what I found is I just put a little bit of this stuff on the inside after I have it cleaned before I put it back on, and I have zero issues. So just a tip there. I'll show you how I do that later in the video. So the first thing I do is I clean the muzzle brake. What I do is I take an old t-shirt, take my mixture here, and I just spray all inside. I'm pretty liberal with this stuff. It's not going to harm my firearm at all, so I'm not too worried about it. Getting the threads really good. And then now, because that's also soaked in the t-shirt, I just wrap it up like that and I set it aside. Next step, disassembly of the AK. Okay, so here I have my SGL 31. Go ahead and make sure it's unloaded. Nothing inside. And depress this, take the top cover off. SGLs and anything by Arsenal are very notorious for being very tight fit. So it just takes a little maneuvering, you can get it right off. Spring out. Bolt carrier. And gas tube. All disassembled. Next step is I take the gas tube and I do the same thing like I did with the muzzle brake. Just spray down there. And since ballast is good for plastics, wood, leather, metal, it doesn't matter if you get any on the polymer. So it's not a big deal. I literally just clean everything here. It's mostly water, just remember that. You're just trying to rinse out the corrosive salts. Set that aside. do the same thing with the receiver cover. The other thing about ballast too that I like is it's 100% safe for hands. So you don't even have to use gloves. Like if you're out the range, you have to do a quick field strip and clean it down. Just use your hands. Alright, I'm going to separate the bolt from the bolt carrier. Spray the bolt down. Yeah, if you haven't seen my video yet on how to take apart the bolt, go ahead and do that, because I usually take it apart after I shoot corrosive ammunition and clean the inside too. And the piston. Now I just shot this yesterday, and I don't know if you can see that. There's already a little tiny itty bitty little bit of surface rust. So remember guys, it's very important that you clean after shooting corrosive ammunition. It's super important. I mean, unless you like rust on your guns. I mean, maybe that's your thing, I don't know. Now as I've been spraying this, I've been spraying it on a t-shirt. So this t-shirt's nice and soaked too, so you can just wipe it all down here. And I hit up the spring too. Now as far as the main part of the firearm and the receiver, I take that t-shirt, I'm going to do the muzzle end first. Actually, let me get a different color. And basically I just want it to start here. And then I just spray straight down into the barrel. And into the gas port, gas tube. All around there. Anywhere you think corrosive ammunition would have sprayed, just go ahead and spray around. Now remember, the goal of this isn't necessarily to clean the rifle. This is only to wash away the corrosive residue left over by the salts in the corrosive primers of corrosive ammunition. I want to make that very clear. I am not spraying my rifle down with 100% ballast. This is mostly water. Ballast just helps to neutralize any acids and help lubricate the metal after the salts get washed away. This is completely safe for your firearm. Now the other thing I do is I just take some straight ballast and I spray it right down the barrel, and I let that sit for a little bit while I clean the other parts, and that'll help with the removal of the carbon and the copper from the copper jackets on the rounds. And then I'll also spray it down the gas tube. And then I just have one of these nylon, this is 45 caliber, a nylon 45 caliber brush that I think I got from, I think it was in one of my old Springfield XD firearm boxes. And I just run that through. And get some cleaning patches. Put that through the gas tube. Yeah, it's pretty dirty. I'll do a dry one from the opposite end. And I kind of twist as I go through, just to make sure I get as many grooves as I can in there. And I'll just keep doing this until the patch comes out basically white. Okay, one more pass and we should be good. Yeah, that's pretty clean. So I'm happy with that. I'd say the gas tube is clean, so I'll go ahead and put that aside. And I'll work on the muzzle brake. Same thing, regular ballast. Same 45 caliber brush. Now this is a chrome lined muzzle brake. The one that comes with the Arsenal SGL 31s is not chrome lined. So this is a little bit easier to clean than the ones that come from Arsenal. Arsenal does sell chrome lined brakes, but they're really expensive. But they are made in the USA, so you got to keep that in mind for 922R compliance. But basically the same thing, spray it down with ballast and just scrubbing the inside of it. And it's the same process. Go from wet to dry, until it's clean. Or the patch comes out clean, I should say. I'm going to show you guys another product too that I use quite a bit. If you have really difficult carbon, this Slip 2000 Carbon Killer Bore Cleaner works also very well. You just gotta remember to shake it really good. And it almost has like a, I guess it says it's orange scented, but it almost smells a little minty. But sometimes I like to use that too, and pour it in here and just let it sit. And that does a pretty good job of getting anything left over. I just kind of squeeze it in and turn it. I'll let that sit for a little while. And then the gas piston. You're pretty much always going to have burnt on carbon on the gas piston. And the only thing that I've found that works very well on that is if you just get a brass brush. Because the brass won't hurt the steel at all, but it'll take off that carbon, especially for the tip. Sometimes it helps too if you spray it with ballast first and then do this, because the ballast kind of attracts that gunk. See how we're looking now. See, it's looking pretty good. Nice and clean. Good as new. Wipe everything else down. Same thing with the receiver cover. Just spray her down and wipe it. The bolt, wipe that down too. You don't want any lubricant left on the bolt face. So just make sure you get that wiped down really good. Remember, you want to hear that rattle for AK bolt. Alright, let's see how our muzzle brake is doing. Yeah, I got some more out. It looks nice and clean to me. I'm just going to take just a little bit of ballast oil and then wipe it out so it just creates a nice little protective barrier. Alright, so we're almost done. Remember, I had ballast oil sitting in the barrel here working. I like to make sure and get all the grime that gets built up right here. And then after this, I just run just a normal rod and brush up and down the barrel until I feel that that's nice and clean. So I don't need to show you guys that part. You should know how to do that. One other thing I do though is I do take that 45 caliber brush and I do clean out that gas area there. Also very important to keep that nice and clean. Alright, so I got the bore all clean, and now I'm going to put the muzzle brake back on. And like I said in the beginning of the video, I just put a little bit of this red and tacky right on the inside of these threads here. Not a tremendous amount, but enough to go into the threads. And I have found that that pretty much alleviates any issue of being able to take the muzzle brake off after shooting it. So, go ahead and put this back on. So we are. All back together there. Let's go ahead and get the rest of the rifle together. And we'll start with the bolt. Into the bolt carrier. Spin it on in. Put the gas tube back on. Put the bolt and bolt carrier back on. Spring. Dust cover. Everything's back together. Everything's clean. Hopefully this video helped you guys. I just wanted to show that it's pretty easy to use ballast oil with water to rinse out the corrosive salts after using corrosive ammo. And you know, this is something easy that you can even put this in your range bag, and right after you're done shooting, just spray everything down, put it in your case, and then clean it when you get home. So this is what has worked for me. There's plenty of other ways. You know, you got your Windex and your boiling water and everything else, but this is what I do, and I haven't had any issues. So any questions, comments, concerns, leave a comment or send me a PM. Hope you guys have a good day. See you later.